So I posted a meme online, and unfortunately, I don't sit online long enough to like kind of go into more detail of things. So I figured I'd make a podcast about it. I just wanted to go over some of the things on the meme and what we can do actually to counter a lot of these things. A lot of these things are based on where your immune system stands, but even that can be all strengthened with exercise, proper nutrition, and whatnot. So, without further ado, let's go right into it. It says at the top, so what's making us sick if not a virus? Well, this is how viral things set in, I believe, if your immune system is compromised, one, and two. I think we fight viruses daily, all day, every day, even if you don't see symptoms. You're constantly exposed to everything. You got to keep that immune system up, and that's where, well, I come in with my yoga and all the effects that it has on our body. So for me, a lot of these topics are fun to talk about because I've been looking into these things for a very long time. It's actually what pulled me into my journey into health and finding my path and into yoga. Am I right on this? By the way, disclaimer, I should put this right in the beginning. This is all my opinions, my beliefs, my research. I know nothing. Do your own research. Look it up. I'm only bringing it to your attention and showing that there are ways around it as well. The top one, number one, is poor nutrition. There's so much debate out there. There's so much talk. There's so much conflict. Nothing's cut and dry, but it's still out there. The information is there. It's just you really have to dig for it. Not to mention, each of our bodies is different regardless of what they teach. We're all unique. We all have different things that our body needs. We're all loaded up with chemicals, the overall body burden, and we're all at different levels in that. So it's not easy to be like, well, this is healthy, this isn't. There's things, everything's questionable, everything's in debate. I'm a big fruit guy. You can't really go wrong with fruit. I eat tons of fruit every day. We'll get back into that. Stress. All right. So, stress. For me personally, I feel exercise and yoga right here specifically are huge when it comes to stress. It helps teach us to be here in the now. There's no choice. You have to be there. Otherwise, you may, in yoga, you could fall on your face, or there's safety things that you have to be mindful of when you're pushing yourself. You don't really have a chance to think about or be in the past or the future. You have to be in the now because it's the now that's sucking or hurting or whatever. How many of us know someone or going through it ourselves that are like, just have anxiety or depression, just overall stress? That's a big one, That goes into all sorts of things. Not sitting with ourselves, being more in the present, not being in the now. Once again, living in the past or living in the future, which will cause anxiety and or depression or both. That's where yoga's huge. Breath work, meditation. Like I said, diet, exercise, all these things will help with the stress. Getting certain personal affairs in order, anything you can do to knock down that stress level. All these things have huge impacts on our nervous system and our immune system. Third one, perpetual fear. When you're living in fear, or when you're in fear mode, okay, you are low vibing. So there's an author out there who charted all this. I believe it's the same guy who wrote Power versus Force. But essentially there's a chart of like all your emotions and such, from fear, joy, love, gratitude, all that stuff has been charted, and essentially each of these emotions cause a specific frequency. And when you're living in any sort of fear, your body's shifting right into fight or flight. Thus, you're in survival mode. This stuff wreaks havoc on, once again, your nervous system and all systems of the body. But essentially, this all leads back to stress. Like, you're stressing the body. So, once again, stress is huge. If you can eliminate that, being just more, coming back to being more grateful and gratitude, much better. Living with love. Poor sleep. When you're when you're not eating right, when you're stressing, when you're worrying, when you're in fear, these are all things that are going to affect your sleep. When you're more tuned up and balanced on all fronts, you're going to just sleep better. Going back to the diet and exercise, if you are pushing your body, if you're getting it, if you're revving it up, if you're pushing, if you're getting the blood pressure up, you're releasing all the healthy chemicals, all the natural stuff, this helps balance things out. This will actually help you sleep a lot better. Heavy metals. Ooh. Well, once again, this is a tricky one. They put metal in everything. Heavy metals are in our food, our air. They're actually dumping metal into the air. Whole nother discussion. Whole nother topic. But yeah, it goes back to the detox. Well, it goes into detoxing because you need to rid the body of that. A lot of this stuff becomes cumulative, and it will reside in the body for a very long time, causing a lot of problems. All right, so back to the yoga thing. Best things you can do for the body for a detox. Literally pushing chemicals out during the practice and sweating them out physically. And emotionally, spiritually. It's the art of letting go, essentially. Same thing with our bodies accumulating bad chemicals and whatnot. We rid them through a detox. Turmeric, spices specifically are really good for heavy metal detox. Yeah, this is a thing. Some studies suggest that we wouldn't even have any Alzheimer's or dementia without actual aluminum deposits within the brain. I'm not sure if it's exactly specifically aluminum, but I'm pretty certain it's related to that. All right, moving forward. What is this, number 6? Yeah, number 6, EMF exposure. For those who don't know, EMF is electromagnetic frequency. Everything electric, anything that you plug in, even things that aren't even with battery powered. So electronic devices, electrical devices, a lot of these things put off a magnetic field of radiation specifically. This is going a little bit beyond my realm. I'm not entirely sure how we detox off of radiation. I'm not sure if it's the same way as we would do anything and everything else. But I'm certain there's protocol, though, specifically for radiation. But we are overly blanketed with radiation daily, especially this day and age now with the age of everything being wireless and Wi-Fi. How many flags am I going to raise during this video? Wow. All right. Yeah. So the towers that we're surrounded by, some say that these things are emitting extreme radiation. The cell phones specifically, extreme radiation. They don't want you to know that. You see a lot of those stories just censored. So with that said, try to be mindful of that. Do you live near a tower? Maybe you want to move. I don't know. Do you constantly have your cell phone on you? A lot of people wear them in their bras. They wear them in their pants, their back pockets. They constantly got the thing on them, even in the phone, in the car or whatnot. So, and I'm just saying, I'm not saying that I'm any better. All I'm saying is just be mindful of it. So if you're constantly carrying thing around, maybe you don't want to do that as much. Maybe you want to put it down. Maybe you don't want to carry it constantly on your body. Maybe you just would rather throw it in your purse, or maybe you'd rather keep it in the car when you exit. the car, or, whatever. Maybe you want to start leaving it at home more. Will this help? I don't know. I personally believe that a lot of the change in life, like, doesn't happen with big one huge thing, like, I'm going to get away from all radiation. No, I feel like the huge changes come about through being mindful of all the tiny little things in life, the little mundane things that you never even pay attention to. These are the things that I think make the hugest impacts on all fronts, whether it's better choices, whether it's healthier choices. It doesn't come from one choice or, today's the day where I'm going to do. It's never like that. It's you just got to change your mindset and start trying to be mindful, more conscious of all these things that we allow into our lives. Because face it, these are the things that are we're most intimate with, you know what I mean? Is all your body products, all your food, all the chemicals that you expose yourself to daily. Moving forward, toxic cleaning products. All right. Lysol, for example, air fresheners, super bad. A lot of them are anyway. All of them? Maybe not. But a lot of them are extremely bad. Check into them. Look into them. Check out these, turn them around. Look at some of these chemicals. Look them up. You have a smartphone right in your hand. You can look up any of these chemicals. So just being mindful of that. I didn't even think, cleaning products. Well, even regular hand soap has parabens in it and all these other chemicals that I can't think off the top of my head right at the second. But most soaps, body soap, hand soap, face soap, all these things carry toxic stuff. Pay attention to it. Look up what you're exposing your body to. And then we don't have to worry about it as much going into yoga, stressing, I need to detox off these chemicals. Because once again, it's overall body burden. Eventually, not one thing specific may hurt you, but it may hurt this one or may hurt that one. And you're like, how can that be? It didn't hurt me and this and that. Because it's what is the straw that breaks the camel's back, essentially? It's what chemical, what overall level of chemical before your body is like, I've had enough, and it starts to fight back or it creates something bad. Still learning how to talk on here. I don't know what flies and what's not gonna fly, and whatever. Learning curve. Overuse of antibiotics. This is a big thing. They have prescribed that for everything. But eventually your body adjusts to it and it gets used to it, and it's not as effective. But ultimately, antibiotics are extremely unhealthy for you. A lot of them destroy your organs, your liver, your spleen, all that stuff. Do your best to not need this stuff. Once again, keep that immune system up the best you can. Pasteurized, inorganic dairy. From all my learning, from all my knowledge I've gained on this one specifically, almost all dairy is no good for you. The way it's processed, even the organic stuff. I mean, milk to me is one of the worst things you can put in your body on a food level. It's just straight up loaded with sugar. And yeah, it's completely homogenized, pasteurized. That is entirely other podcast. The factory farms and all the stuff that goes on with these animals. Horrific. It's another subject. All right, moving forward. Processed foods. Our food, everything comes in a bag or in a box or in a can. All this stuff's no good. Just about any way you want to cut it. It's no good. Go raw as best you can, as much as you can. Try to eat as much raw fruits and vegetables as you possibly can. Yeah, as far as the meat goes, if you're going to eat meat, then try to eat the cleanest, best stuff you can get, because ultimately a lot of it's really garbage stuff. That's a dark thing all in itself. The meat industry, the factory farming, like I said. I mean, they're cloning these things, and they have been for a very long time. And there's all sorts of weird stuff that's going on. And a lot of people call it frankenfood because we don't even know what it is anymore. I'll fight to say that it's not food. This isn't food. Yeah, with the processed foods, try to do your best to try to eat as clean as you can. On that note, I know a lot of it's super expensive, but that just begs the question, why? Why is it so expensive? It's clean because it's clean. Like it should. That was like the way it was always back in the day, like all the way up to, whatever, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s. Why is it so dirty now? What has changed? And why are they making food so inaccessible? Especially just if it's just clean, healthy food. Like, that is a problem right there. Same as like the water supply. Moving forward, though, I think that's on here, so we'll get to that. Refined grains. Same thing. A lot of people say a lot of grains aren't good for you. Oats aren't actually good for you at all. Going back to like the wheat and the barley and all that, like none of that stuff is the same as it used to be. Back, I think it was before the 90s. Everything's genetically modified now. So things are not the same. Things are different. If you're going to eat this stuff, you want to try to get non-genetically modified, non-GMO, or you want to try to just go straight organic. Lack of time in nature. Well, shame on you. But yeah, you need sunlight. Andrew Huberman talks about that a lot. Sunlight in the eyes, it helps balance all our body chemically. It helps balance sleep. Just get in some sun in the face and the eyes and the skin. It's antifungal. You get all your vitamins. You got grounding outside. Take off your shoes. Go barefoot whenever you can. Sit with nature. I mean, once again, it goes back to the not living in the here and the now. And I feel like we are losing our connection big time with nature. For me, that's quite obvious. But, reconnect with your ground, your nature. Reconnect with your earth. It'll help bring more consciousness and awareness possibly to what we're doing to it and in the need to take care of it. Love your earth. It's the only one we got. Once we ruin it, it's gone. Lack of exercise. I think I read where it was like 5% of the country exercises. Just talking United States. But if that's the truth, then this is a big problem. Sure, a lot of us work physical jobs and we're completely destroyed and worn out from our 40-hour, 50-hour, 60-hour work weeks. But kind of going back to this list, we would feel so much better throughout our week, if we started taking care of this. If we started taking better care of ourselves, you will notice a huge difference even at our work performance. If you're walking a lot at work, then do something else when you get home, or maybe do some yoga, maybe do a little strength training. Same thing. If you don't get enough exercise at work, maybe you're sitting down on a chair all day, do some counter chair stuff, strengthen that back up, strengthen up our core, strengthen your body. You have to, you got to get some sort of exercise in there. You got to get those chemicals going. You got to get that blood pumping, as they say. Very healthy. It's important. A lot of people, I don't think, like I said, they think, well, I did my work week, and you acclimate to that, and we still need work. We still need to actually push ourselves. Like I said, push that blood pressure up in a positive way, in a healthy way. Not just, well, I have high blood pressure. Naturally. No, that's not natural. And a lot of this you can correct. Almost all of it. I'm a big believer in that. Poor detox pathways. Well, here we go. Back into the yoga, personally. There's not enough information out there as far as detox protocols, what foods do it, what to stay away from. We're just straight up over-toxifying our bodies with never giving it a break. For me, I didn't realize how over-toxified I was until I started my yoga journey. That's when I started, becoming aware of it, I didn't know we're overtoxified, and the human body can only take so much. So we have to detox. And not to sound like a broken record, but going back to the yoga, it's one of the best ways to detox the body is to rinse, wring, squeeze the muscles, the lymphs, the glands in a physical way, in ways where we don't move our bodies daily, or maybe you do, and sweat it out, push it out right through the skin, right through the body, rid those toxins. Will this heal you tomorrow? No. It's a process, and it takes a long time for some of us, some much longer than others, because we are overburdened. Unhealed trauma. I don't even know what to say to that. That's everybody. Including myself. That's something that I'm starting to now uncover a lot more knowledge of. We all got trauma, and a lot of us carry it around. A lot of us don't even know what it is. Most of it stems from our childhood, past relationships. It could stem from events that we're not even mindful of. From being too young to remember. In yoga, you see a lot of things surface, and a lot of people don't understand that. There's a good book. I haven't even read it, but I understand the premise of it, and it's called The Body Holds the Score. Basically saying, no, the body keeps the score. So even saying, like, you may not even remember these things, but your body does. Your body will never forget. I can go real deep with this. I feel like our DNA is our, like, log of just about every single thing we did. Even if we don't have the technology into reading that yet, I still think that it carries essentially our log of life. You know, it's our text document of what we've done. Every single thing we've eaten, chemical we've intaked, everything is recorded into it. Whether it's still in our body or not, I don't know. But either or, I mean, I find it fascinating to even think like that. A lot of things end up coming out in yoga because you're closed off, say, and you've been closed off for a long time, and you're in protection mode. You don't even know it. You know, you're in guard mode, protection mode. And this is how it essentially ends up happening, is you've blocked your heart chakra, essentially. You're protecting. This is your armor now. You'll notice it in mannerisms, people, body language, you know, confident people, they're more open. They will take up more space. They have no problem taking, you know, the light or getting the light shined on them. But when people are closed off, you know what I mean? They're guarded, they're protected. So when you get into yoga and you start doing heart openers and you're opening up your heart, you're cracking all that open. This posture alone, maybe you haven't even done it in 5 years, 10 years. Maybe you've never done it. Who knows? But you're opening up. You're surrendering back. You're cracking that heart open. And thus, all of a sudden, you're like, why am I feeling this flood of emotions? Like, you are opening up. You're releasing some of that trauma, or at least you're allowing it to surface without even realizing it. Subconsciously, we're opening up. The body ain't used to it. It's being stuck like this. The muscles are now adapted to it. The fascia, everything has now gone into protect mode, thus created a thick armor. It's very thick. Years. It's taken years to build. So you come in and then you release it and open it and crack it open. Not everybody's ready for that, you know? So back to the beauty of yoga. It's so wonderful and beautiful. It's such a powerful tool to address just about everything we've said on this list so far. And that's why when I got into it, I was like, oh, this is it right here. This is something big. This esoteric knowledge. And I can't tell you how many times I said that in teacher training where I was like, why don't they show this to people? Why isn't this discussed in school? Everybody should know this stuff. I've said that so many times. And that's when I was like, yeah, all right. I'm over target. Number 16, vegetable oils. I think every oil on the market is bad for you, aside from olive oil and coconut oil. Of course, you have your natural oils that are extracted through whatever cold process or whatever healthy process can be. But as far as like consumption of like stuff you were going to eat and cook with and use in our daily, the vegetable oils need to go. Those are bad. Same thing though. Detox. Get rid of it. Throw it out. And then switch it up. Coconut oil, olive oil, organic. Herbicides and pesticides. This is huge because you think that it just plays into the food, but it doesn't. Herbicides and pesticides are in everything. Your clothes, it's made out of cotton. So they use that stuff on the cotton. A lot of your clothes are genetically modified. Thus, why it's so expensive to even get organic clothes. You're like, why do you need that? Well, that's why this list is made. Once again, it goes back to the overall body burden. What are we doing to our bodies? We're wearing these chemicals. We are wearing these pesticides. Simple as that. Not to get too dark in this specific podcast, but another specific example is like tampons and the pads are made out of all cotton, and they now make them. It was just recent where they came onto the market, but like they're organic tampons because glyphosate. They've discovered glyphosate is in just about almost all cotton, almost, unless it's organic, and thus you are putting that in a very vulnerable spot where the body absorbs just about anything there. So wicked bad. And why isn't this like full on no knowledge? Why doesn't everybody know? Everybody should know that, male or female. I don't care if it's just the females that use that stuff. That should be common knowledge by now, at least. I mean, I knew about it 10 years ago, so burns me up. Mold. Yeah, that's a good one. Mold, mildew, fungal. Do your best. Get rid of it if you're living around that stuff. I know people that have it in their house. Do what you got to do. Clean it up. Best you can. Very toxic. Overuse of pharmaceuticals. Number 19. Yeah, ain't that the truth? They say even the drinking water is now from people eating so many pharmaceuticals and peeing it out. They have now said a lot of the waters in and around these areas are overloaded with pharmaceuticals. So your tap water, essentially, like where I live in southern Mass, they say our tap water contains just about every pharmaceutical, like overbearing like levels too. There was a video that was done on that, a study. Moving forward. Poor gut health. Once again, that's everybody. We're making poor decisions. We're not getting the right balance in with food, nutrients, minerals, where our gut is jacked up. And not to go too far off subject here, but it's kind of on subject. Your vagus nerve is a direct line from your gut to your brain. Your brain function, your moods, your serotonin levels, everything is made in the brain and, well, directly related from your gut. So if you have poor gut health, you're going to have poor mental health. This is fact. So if you want to feel better mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the first thing you need to do is to start by changing your eating habits. And it doesn't have to be drastic and overnight. You need to just start incorporating some better stuff in there to start, Eat a damn banana. I mean, I used to joke around, like, I'm not sure if I'm joking anymore, but like, I don't trust people who don't eat fruit. Like, what do you mean you don't eat fruit? Like, you need fruit. Like, are you okay? You're probably upset. I would be. I do get upset if I don't get my fruit. I'm like, damn. And when I do get my fruit and it's garbage because it's from, local Stop and Shop and we get piss poor food, that pisses me off too, because we spend an arm and a leg and we get like bottom of the barrel crap. I digress. Moving forward. And that's just it. Like, we want to make huge changes. We need to start not only just with ourselves. That's where it all starts. It starts here. It starts within ourselves. But once we start here, it's going to start spreading into our neighbor's house. It's going to start spreading into our community. And once we get on the same page, that's how we're going to take everything back. That's how we're going to take our health back. That's how we're going to take our freedom back. It's all going to start in the community. There's no other way. It has to start local. This isn't new. This is going back to the old ways, before big government. Woo, don't get me started. Toxic skin products. We can start small with lotion and then move our way up to the beauty products, the polishes, the nail polish, the hair dyes, the makeup, just to go back a little bit, like even deodorant is 99% of them are really, really bad for you. They all contain aluminum. Aluminum is, once again, going back to that heavy metals, and aluminum does not belong in the human body. I don't care what sort of other things they're putting it into. It doesn't belong. From all my research that I've done, it rocks the pH balance of everything it gets on or touches. Be mindful of this stuff. Your shampoos, going back to the cleaning products, any chemical that you put on your body, any chemical that you are intimate with, you have to research it. Why wouldn't you want to? See who and what companies are affecting you. If you don't even think, you may not even think they are, but that's okay. Moving forward. Toxic air fresheners. So we kind of already went over that stuff, like a lot of the Lysol, Glade plugins, anything that's scented and releasing a scent into the air and atmosphere, probably bad. Get yourself some nice clean incense or sage, or burn some wood, or, Palo Santo, cedar, something. You don't need that stuff. Oh, and let's go. If you cleaned up a lot of these things, you wouldn't, this is for the men, I'm going to specifically say, like, you wouldn't have to dump so much cologne. Women too with the perfume, but like, you wouldn't have to cover up your natural body odor with all these chemicals. You would actually smell better if you took better care of your body. There's no Axe body spray that's going to hide that. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah, that's a whole other discussion. Blocking your own pheromones and or receptors, and blocking others from receiving that. That was a mind-blowing podcast I listened to. I'm going to have to look that up and hopefully link it, because very informative, all the way down to, like, that's how we pick our mate, or that's how we would properly pick our mate. It's super fascinating. I'm going to try to find it. I believe that was also Andrew Huberman. He is like a god of information. He is so awesome. I love listening to him. He makes me feel smarter just by listening. Oh, look at this. Lack of community. This is really, really important stuff. They got us fighting, like I said, our neighbors and community. We're all fighting and battling each other. Really hard to find unity with our neighborhoods and friends and family these days, it seems. But really, this is such a huge human component, human connection, how do you feel when, if a friend or something or someone you like comes and visits you at work and all that, and you're like, oh my God, like you get so excited and pumped. And I would like to see the world where it would be like we all start treating each other like we do puppies. It might be a little over the top, but you know what I mean? Like, why can't you light up when someone comes into the room? Or why can't you be like excited? Like, oh my God, what's up? Like, if I feel like this is like just almost like a lost thing that happens when you're a kid. And then as you get older, you get disconnected from all that. You get very numb, and I don't know. Maybe I'm drifting here. Maybe I'm not. But yeah, lack of community. Yeah, I can see that playing a factor in health as far as our overall discussion. Overconsumption of sugar. Yes, I'm huge on that. There's sugar, processed sugars and everything. Processed sugar and natural glucose is very different from each other. One is poison. The other one is actually very much needed for the human body. Your body, your brain screams for natural sugar. It needs it. But the stuff that we're putting into our bodies and they're putting into all the food is so bad for you, so toxic. And I'm not even sure which is worse anymore, but I know the artificial sweeteners are just as bad, if not worse. They're made by NASA and biotech companies, and those aren't good chemicals at all. They pretty much poke holes in your brain. So stay away from that. Stay away from as much processed sugar as possible. Going back to the yoga, we can detox off this. We can help detox the body with this. Fast food. Back to the processed foods, fast food. Yeah. Stay away from it. Most of it's not even food. That's all I can say. Genetically modified, cloned, processed, zombified, mystified. I don't know what goes on, but it's not food. Try your best to stay away from the fast food. Toxic tap water. This actually just came up a couple days ago with somebody. But a lot of the tap water, I'm just going to go with all tap water. It's just safer. But all the tap water is essentially toxic. It carries massive metal in it. Just the city that I live in alone has reports of all kinds of lead pipe, like throughout the streets still. Like, is it as bad as Flint? I don't know. I actually don't even know. I can't answer that. But I'll tell you, they've said it's not good. It's not good. But I have read a story that there's a lot more towns just like Flint, if you can imagine. Like, why do you think Flint? Well, you think Flint was Michigan, I'm talking about. They had massive issues with their water supply. Do you think that's like an isolated thing? Because it's definitely not. You can punch up story after story. Yeah, there's a lot of cities that are just like Flint, very toxic. So do your best to avoid tap water, drink spring water. But here's the kicker, right? Like, what do? Nestle essentially runs and owns just about all the water. Why is that? Like, how did we let that happen? Something that's so abundant on Earth and so vital to the human body. Like, that should not be something that's controlled by a mega company, mega corporation. No way. And they are. That's exactly what they are. If you were to look into Nestle, they are huge. And that's the last people that should be allowed to control a nation's water supply, as far as the healthy water. Whether it's healthy or not, I leave that up to you. I do believe there's actually even fluoride in that as well. I'm not sure. I called them a long time ago, and they said there was some sort of slight level of fluorination in it from the natural process. And I tried arguing with the lady that fluorination is not a natural process, and didn't go very far. But ultimately, fluoride, one of the key ingredients in the tap water that they put in, mostly, I believe, in the big cities. Could be wrong on that. Could be everywhere. I'm not even sure, but stuff is absolutely no good. Very much like, same thing. Google toxicity of fluoride. Like, you need a spacesuit to handle this stuff. In the plants where they have the water treatment plants, like the rooms, there's pictures of like these rooms that house and or dispense the fluoride into the water, and they're absolutely rusted out and totally, like, it's just wild. Like, it puts holes in concrete, but they say it's good for your teeth. Okay. Another discussion, like I said, I would like to do a whole podcast just on that alone. Lack of minerals. Well, yeah. Not getting enough minerals and vitamins and nutrients. All these things are because of our toxicity, our lymphs, glands, nodes. Our bodies won't even accept most of them because we're over-toxified. We don't have room for them. We're just totally... Actually, they'd say we're full of shit. And it's true. We are. Like, we are so overloaded. You want some of these things to stick, you need to make room. You need to stop prepping your body for it. Once again, there's detox protocols for this, like allowing room for nutrients, minerals to bind to the cells. Everything will start running better. Everything will be great. Make the body great again. Soda. Yeah. If you can, don't drink soda. Avoid it. Even American soda even is entirely different than just about all the soda around the world. Why? We don't even use real sugar in almost everything. We use artificial sweeteners. And it's just so much cheaper. Soda is a major culprit. It contains so many things that absolutely rock our bodies. Especially, I'm not going to get into it, but like if you're an energy drinker, those things are really bad for you. They contain a lot of chemicals that you probably wouldn't want in your body once you realized what they were. Moving forward. Overconsumption of alcohol. Well, I'm just going to say any consumption of alcohol is bad for you. It rocks the body. Same thing as we've discussed. All the base ingredients are genetically modified. A lot of it's just garbage stuff that they're using for a base. And the refining process isn't so good either. So, yeah. That's, if you can, do your best to, try to avoid all alcohol. Smoking. Well, do I even have to say anything about this one? No, I don't. You know. Quit talking about chemicals. I mean, it's one thing if it was just a tobacco leaf. It's got medicinal properties to it. They even say nicotine is specifically healthy, I'm hearing, and whatnot. Ultimately, though, smoke inhalation is detrimental to the physical body. It's just not good in any form. Vaping, smoking. It rips your lungs up, your esophagus, all that jazz. You don't want that stuff. And not for nothing, it messes with the chemical balances in our bodies. Not nicotine. I'm not going to talk about that one. I'm talking about the 5,000 other chemicals that they put in there. And most of them are for addiction purposes only because, well, the government allows it. So, and this one plays into the next, essentially, but it goes along with poor oral hygiene. Take care of your mouth. Take care of your teeth. The nervous system ends. A lot of it ends in your teeth. It's got all those nerves all directly linked right into our blood, our body. So anything that happens in the mouth, in your teeth, in the jaw, if those go septic, your body immediately goes septic. If I'm not mistaken, that's why even the army turns people away. The military even turns people away from accepting people if they have actually bad hygiene, because they're susceptible to getting sick Fascinating, right? So, yeah, take care of your mouth, take care of your teeth, keep them clean, keep the bad shit out of it, too, that helps out a lot. Stay away from the sugars. See, so if you were to see how each one of these things plays into the other, that's how it is. It's a domino effect. So it ends on and many others, and I could probably add to this list, no doubt, but I'm not going to. I think that was more than enough for now. And if there's anything more you want to hear on here that we want to go a little bit further into, I do have some knowledge into a lot of these topics. Not full on. I'm just a yogi who likes to read. I wouldn't mind doing more discussion on any of all. In fact, I'm certain we will revisit almost all of these at one point or another. So yeah, I think I'll wrap it up here. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more stuff like this, give us a like, hit that subscribe button, the notification bell. All those things help our channel greatly. Tell your friends about us, share our stuff online. It all helps. We greatly appreciate all the work you do for us. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Have a great day. Take care.